Alright guys, so today we're putting bucket seats in the E46. We had a great idea. I wanted to save a couple of $100. We have this welder now, so I thought it'd be a good idea to make seat brackets, but we kind of like looked into that a little bit. It was pretty complicated because the seat rails in the E46 are pretty big, so we need a lot of metal to get in there. But so I had a great idea because I want people to be able to drive this thing other than me. I was like, we should take apart the stock seats and mount the brides to them. So as you guys can see, we have the fully electric seats with the brides being put on. So if you guys want to get bride seats for your E46, but you don't want to give up the ability to slide them around, move them up and down and all that shit, it's a good way. And you keep the stock seat belt so you don't get the airbag light. So that's a plus. We're going to make another bracket. So we already cut our piece of 1/8 inch steel bar stock. Got our little table here, and of course, as you guys know, we're sponsored by Harbor Freight. So we have this Harbor Freight stepper bit, which actually, for being as cheap as it was like $3. Works pretty good. And we have these ones, so I'm just going to start off this hole right here, and then I'm going to use the stepper bit to make it the size of the bolt. Then the bolt's going to go into the seat just like the other one did, and we're going to weld it to the thing, the seat rail, and then we'll get it in the car. It should be mint.
Started seeing what Tom's going. Oh, you got just Nathan's frame.
Just got to get it started.
He does that shit all the time. That's Nathan's coming.
Fuck, this is fucking gay.
Use a smaller bit.
You can, yeah. This isn't really. Alright, that drill bit, this drill bit right here, guys, this thing actually puts in work. I didn't think it would put in as much work as it did. Alright.
Oh, you're dirty, Siren. Oh, so wicked. I did the nastiest ninja kick.
Remember, the cleaner your welds are, or the cleaner the metal is, the cleaner the welds will come out. So, got a little paint on this seat rail here, and we're going to be welding a piece to it. So how this is kind of going to go, I'm going to grind this down a little bit. Then we already made these pieces out of some 1/8 inch bar stock. Thank you, Sibley. And we have these nuts here, so that's going to go right through there, bolt into the seat. And yeah, that way we'll be able to take the bucket seat off of the rail if we ever need to, and the rail will still be able to come off of the car. So nothing super permanent, but should be a good setup. So let's do it. Alright, so now we're just going to tack this in place here. You can see how shiny that metal got. Just clean it up a little bit. I'm just going to weld it. Got the tack down there, now I'm just going to lay a bead on it. Now we just got to install the stock seat belt holder. We won't be using this for very long, but this is just a good place to put it because as soon as you take this off, you get a check engine light, so we don't want that. Sweet. Alright, let's put it in the car, see how it looks. Alright guys, so we got the battery plugged in now. Kinda excited to see how this works. So here we have this standard controller. Obviously the bucket seats are gonna hold you in super snugly. I don't have it bolted down yet. You can have the room for 5-point harnesses all the way around, and let's see. That's what we did all that work for. That's fucking sick. Alright guys, so as you see, now you can slide the seats backward and forward. I mean, there's not a lot of play in them at all. I still have to bolt these down, but I did a little rewiring, so that thing for the old backrest, because obviously that doesn't work anymore, actually lifts you up and down. So if you're a shorter person, you want to drift my car, it's doable. Yeah, I really like how these feel. Alright guys, so in the last video you guys watched us, we welded up these seat brackets. It turned out pretty nice. One thing I do have to say about welding the brackets to the actual rail here for the electric moving the seat up and down is that it did make the seat pretty high, so I can't really use the cushions that came with the seat, so you're kind of just sitting on this hard surface here, but it's not that bad. Got some harnesses coming, so that we'll finish that video up. We'll get those installed, but I have driven the car around. They're really sturdy. I like them a lot. But we didn't get this filmed up, but we did pull the rear subframe. Hopefully we're going to be able to get this built by the start of this season. So here we had some subframe issues, and we thought it'd be easier just to pull it. So obviously we already pulled the diff out and welded that and put it back in an earlier time. But here's what an axle should sound like when you pull on it. All right, it's the whole subframe. And we have this axle over here wobbling all over the place. So that was caused by the rear subframe mount tearing out, which you probably saw in episode 1. We filmed that, and you can see the rear subframe actually pulled out from the car. So we need to replace that. But when we pulled it, we also realized that my subframe is actually broken. So this piece right here should be attached right there. So we're kind of figuring out whether or not we want to clean the subframe up and weld it all back together, or if I should just buy a new one. So we're going to tear into that at a later time. But for now, we got some goodies. We got some of these nice Harbor Freight wheels. So we're going to use these to polish up the bottom of the subframe, or the bottom of the unibody. And these came in the mail today. So these are going to be our reinforcement plates. So these are going to get welded to the underbody of the car, and then the subframe will go reinstall underneath them. So we have a whole bunch of plates in here. Nice kit by Tumor Motorsport. These should just weld right up to the frame, and we're ready to rock and roll. Also, hopefully we'll be able to get some solid, I don't know, I'm not really sure about solid aluminum yet, but hopefully some polyurethane bushings for the subframe, all 4 corners, and should be about it. Ready for drift. As you can see, there's nothing in here but brake lines. It's literally all that's left, just a hollow shell. So hopefully the next video we'll be putting that back in, welding it up. Obviously we have our MIG welder, so that's the point. That basically we bought the MIG welder to do this job because we didn't want to do it poorly, and I'm only going to do this one time because it's kind of, you know, it's a big job. So check that one out. Alright guys, so here's a pretty good shot under the car. So this right here, that's where the subframe should mount to. So this is an example of a good one. So you can see it's not cracked, and that mount is actually still up in there. And this is what the other side looks like. So basically the whole mount ripped out of the unibody, and it's just an open hole. So this is a mount point. This is a mount point as well. This is another one, and then this is the final one. So this one right here is really the problem area, and that's what we need to fix. So we're just going to go ahead and reinforce all of these, make sure that this doesn't happen again. Oh yeah, it's the same thing. The clip is on the inside here.
Clean it up so it fits in there better.
I gotta buy the fucker. Unless you want to do this again. I might have a good time, but I can take it something else.
I'm looking for a rear main seal for my Beamer 96.
It's the margin.
Get it?
Yeah.
Alright,
No,
there we go.
straight back.
Alright, get it? Set it down, boys. Gently.
What am I doing?
You guys are alright.
Grab it. There you go.
Alright.
Hell yeah. Alright, so we just pulled out Jake's clutch from his Beamer. The guy we bought it from had 200,000 original miles on the car and never replaced it. So that's what a 200,000 mile old clutch looks like. And the clutch was always, it felt a little weird, it was a little stiff. And that's what the pressure plate looked like. So you can see that little spring right there. Just came disconnected, so good thing we bought the full replacement kit.
White lithium grease on there.
Holy shit, that brake cleaner's strong as fuck.
Yeah, there you go. Alright, ready?
Yeah, Willie, you might want to move a little more.
Grab the back,
Alright.
and we're going to need to wiggle this up.
bushings.
I don't know, we need to get that input shaft in there.
There it goes. Take it.
Ah, dust in the eyes! Fuck! Shit! Oh, there it goes! It's in! Oh, you better got that, Willie. That
God damn.
oh my god.
That was fucking heavy.
I'll take the bolts.
And then all we need is, for the top ones, just a bunch of extensions.
Little one
'Cause
right here, I got a long extension.
the easiest way to do it is to be at the back of the trans.